Welcome back to Drive Next 8. Today we're diving deep into one of the most eagerly awaited arrivals in the lightweight roadster arena, the 2026 Kawasaki Z90 RS. This isn't just another small capacity bike, it's a statement, a bridge between retro style and modern engineering. You're in for an in-depth walkthrough, from first impressions all the way to real-world performance, pricing, and whether it truly lives up to the hype. Let's hit the throttle and get started. From the moment you set eyes on the Z90 RS, it pulls you in. The front view is pure charisma. Kawasaki has retained the round headlight, a classic touch, but the modern LED elements give it an unmistakably contemporary twist. The bezel is sleek, not bulky, and the headlight housing blends seamlessly into a minimalist fly screen. Below it, a slender fender curves just above the tire, striking that balance between vintage aesthetic and functional cleanliness. The instrument pod sits low and compact, showing analog-style dials but with digital readouts integrated subtly, a classic form, modern function. The front forks are inverted, gold-finished, small in diameter but firm, giving the front end a sharp, purposeful stance. The dual disc brakes, or single, depending on model markets, peek from behind the spoked wheel, telling you this isn't just for show. Moving to the side, the proportions are near perfect for this class. The long, flat seat gives two-up potential, but more importantly, it maintains a silhouette that's lean and modular. The fuel tank is sculpted narrow at the knee, broader toward the top, giving you confidence and grip when leaned in. The side panels are a blend of metal and plastic, finished smartly to echo older Kawasaki RS models, with subtle RS badging and tonal pinstriping. The exhaust is short, tucked, with a brushed stainless shield and a hint of black coating, ending just shy of the rear wheel. It's sporty but polite, no oversized megaphone getting in the way. The rear shock, or shocks in dual shock variants, are exposed rather than hidden, giving you that classic naked bike feel. The frame is modest but visible in places, and you see the backbone, subtle trellis hints, and welds that speak to purpose rather than polish. From the back, the Z90 RS charms again. The tail section is compact but purposeful, with a slight upkick. The tail light is slim, LED-based, mostly flush to the body, accented with a small rear fender and license plate holder that doesn't drag too far down. The indicators are small but luminous, mounted on stalks that fold slightly. You glimpse the rear tire, the chain, the swing arm, and it all feels minimal, mechanical, honest. There's no over-the-top tail design, no sculptural gimmicks, just clean lines that keep your eyes moving. Overall, the exterior styling is a success. It evokes nostalgia without feeling stuck in the past, and it wears its modern bits with confidence rather than excess. Slide onto the seat and you realize how user-friendly this bike is. The seat itself is flat, with just the right balance of softness and firmness. You're sitting upright, knees slightly bent, hands resting on moderately wide handlebars. It's a relaxed but engaged posture, perfect for city commutes or twisty back roads. The foot pegs are mid-mounted, not rear-set, which keeps comfort high and control accessible. The controls feel crisp, the levers are adjustable, the switches are solid with reassuring tactile feedback. You get a small but clear dash. The analog-style speedometer and tachometer are central, while digital panels around them supply odometer, trip meters, fuel gauge, and a few warning lights. There's a gear indicator, clock, and even a fuel consumption readout. Kawasaki often includes connectivity options, so in certain markets you might also get Bluetooth or ride mode displays integrated. The tank is slim where you grip it, so your legs lock in easily. The build quality inside is clean, no loose plastic edges, no squeaks, and you see metal where it counts. Foot controls, brackets, handlebars, the materials feel premium relative to the class. Under the skin is where the Z90 RS really shows its heart. The engine is a 90cc, or depending on market, possibly 100cc to meet emissions, single-cylinder, liquid-cooled unit. On paper, it won't set your heart on fire with raw numbers. You're looking at something in the ballpark of 9 to 11 horsepower, perhaps torque around 7 to 8 Nm. But it's tuned for usability, smooth throttle response, manageable low-end punch, and a rev-happy top end. In urban traffic, it's nimble and responsive. You never feel punchless, you always feel in command. Kawasaki's engineers likely optimized the inlet and exhaust flow to give decent mid-range roll-on. The transmission is a 5-speed, with light throws and crisp engagement. On open roads you can push it AOC speeds near the 80–90 km/h mark depending on gearing and wind, which is more than enough for many riders in urban and suburban areas. Chassis dynamics are surprisingly mature. The inverted forks up front, though small in diameter, are tuned to absorb moderate bumps without harshness. The rear suspension, whether mono or dual shock, gives just enough cushioning while keeping the rear planted under compression. The frame is rigid enough to instill confidence mid-corner, but not so stiff that everyday bumps punish you. In slowing zones and corners, you feel communicative feedback through the handlebars and foot pegs. There's no numbness or vague wander. Braking performance is tuned for safety. The front brake bites cleanly and stops you decisively, While rear brake offers good backup, ABS is likely standard in many markets, preventing lockups on slippery pavements. Ride quality is pleasantly balanced. On city streets you barely feel the imperfections. On uneven roads, you get some chassis movement, but nothing alarming. Cornering is light and agile, flick the bars, and the bike responds almost telepathically. At higher revs, there's a bit of vibration expected in this Class A, but it doesn't become fatiguing unless you're running close to redline for long stretches. Fuel efficiency is a standout. Expect excellent kilometers per liter as this bike is built for economical commuting. In real-world mixed riding, you might see 30–35 km/L, or better in some markets, because of its light curb weight and modest displacement. That's a major selling point in today's fuel-conscious era. What about market positioning and pricing? Kawasaki will likely price the Z90 RS competitively in the fun commuter, classic light roadster segment. In markets like Southeast Asia, India, or parts of Europe, its rivals include retro 100s, mini naked bikes, and small displacement challengers. Depending on local taxes and import duties, you could see street prices in the lower thousands of dollars or equivalent to perhaps $2,500 to $3,500, or in Europe a negation 2,500 a negation 4,000, depending heavily on spec, emissions compliance, and local incentives. Kawasaki may even offer variants, a base version, a higher feature version, with ABS, upgraded suspension, perhaps color options or accessories. For comparison, other modern mini roadsters or small capacity bikes in Europe already sell in that range, so Kawasaki needs to hit that sweet spot where quality, brand, and design justify the price premium over generic alternatives. But price alone won't make the Z90 RS a hit. Its value will come from the ownership experience. Low maintenance costs, simple layouts, parts availability, and dealer networks will count heavily. The retro styling could make it a favorite among new riders, commuters, and collectors who appreciate a small bike that doesn't feel toy-like but feels purposeful. In closing, the 2026 Kawasaki Z90 RS is more than a nostalgic throwback. It's a carefully engineered homage that aims to deliver everyday usability with character. The exterior is charming and tasteful, mixing vintage cues with clean modern touches. The ergonomics are inviting and practical. The performance won't astonish horsepower snobs, but it delivers what matters: usable power, friendly manners, and thoughtful dynamics. The pricing will be a delicate balance, but if Kawasaki plays it right, this bike could become a darling in the small displacement segment. For those looking to explore further, we'll be doing a full ride test soon, a real-world use, comparisons against rivals, long-term impressions, and more. Be sure to subscribe to Drive Next, hit the notification bell so you don't miss it, and let us know in the comments what you'd like to see, perhaps a dyno run, suspension tweaks, or touring potential. Thanks for riding along on this walkthrough of the 2026 Kawasaki Z90 RS review. See you on the next one, and until then, keep the rubber side down.